All right, let's get into it. Today, we're jumping back to 1957, to the quiet, kind of unassuming plains of West Texas. We're going to break down a series of events in the small town of Levelland that over just a few short hours became one of the most compelling and frankly baffling UFO cases in American history. Okay, let's do this. So, this is the big question, right? What could possibly happen in one night that causes total panic, gets the local cops involved, and even grabs the attention of the United States Air Force? Well, the answer starts on a pretty dark and lonely Texas road. So we are dropping you right into the middle of the action here on the night of November 2nd. The timeline of what happened is it's rapid fire, it's chaotic, and it is completely bizarre. And believe it or not, it all kicked off with a single phone call to the police station. What's so wild about this is just how fast it all happened. I mean, can you imagine being the police dispatcher that night? One call comes in, then another and another, all from different people in different places, but they're all describing this same terrifying thing, this glowing object that just kills their vehicles, dead. Even the sheriff, Roscoe White, who was a total skeptic at first, ended up seeing it for himself. Yeah, and we're not talking about just one or two people here. This was more than 15 credible witnesses. Farmers, truck drivers, even cops, all reporting these eerily similar encounters in just a 2.5-hour window. That sheer number of witnesses is what makes this case so hard to just brush off. And this account, this really gets to the heart of it, the human side of the story. It perfectly captures what every single report was saying that night. The engine just dies, the lights go out, this unbelievably bright thing is right there, and just raw, genuine fear. For these people, this wasn't some distant light in the sky. This was a direct, physical, and absolutely terrifying encounter. So when the sun finally came up, the investigation began, and right away, a huge conflict popped up. See, what the people of Levelland said they saw was, let's say, very different from what the official investigators wanted to hear. And this really lays out the whole conflict, doesn't it? On one side, you have these consistent, detailed reports from sober, everyday people about a silent, glowing ship that shuts down their cars. And on the other side, the official story chalks it all up to, what, ball lightning, bad wiring? Or get this, mass hysteria. It really leaves you with a pretty basic question. Who are you going to believe? Well, the investigation got serious fast. It went way beyond the local police and actually caught the attention of Project Blue Book. Now, this was the Air Force's official unit for investigating UFOs. Their whole job was to figure out what was going on with all these sightings happening across the country and, decide if they were some kind of threat. So Project Blue Book's conclusion came back pretty quick. It was ball lightning. They said a big electrical storm made everyone's circuits wet. But there was one massive problem with that theory. Multiple witnesses, including the police, said the weather that night was totally clear. No storm. And that really unsatisfying explanation is a huge reason why the Levelland case is still so hotly debated today. But you gotta ask yourself, why did this one night in a small Texas town become such a national story? Well, to get that, we kind of have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture of the 1950s. This wasn't happening in a vacuum. The whole country was on edge and looking up at the skies. I mean, just think about the atmosphere back then. The Soviets had launched Sputnik literally 1 month before this happened. That kicked off the space race and fueled all this paranoia about new, scary enemy technology. The Cold War was at its peak. Sci-fi movies about aliens were everywhere. America was basically primed for a story just like Levelland. It was this perfect mix of a real mystery and a deep-seated fear of the unknown. And oh boy, did the media run with it. The local papers were pretty grounded, focusing on the fact that these were credible people coming forward. But on the national stage, whoa, it was pure sensation. You saw headlines screaming about alien invasions, and it turned this local Texas mystery into a full-blown national drama. So why does this story still have legs? Why are we still talking about this one strange night in Texas almost 70 years later? Well, it's because the simple explanations, they just don't quite add up. The mystery was never really put to bed. Let's just break it down one more time. The official theory, ball lightning, is pretty much shot down by all the reports of clear weather. And then there's the mass hysteria idea, but that one falls apart when you actually look at the witnesses. These weren't people in a big panicked crowd. These were folks driving alone, miles and miles apart. They couldn't have influenced each other. yet they all described the same basic, bizarre experience. In the end, the Levelland case has stuck around because it's just this perfect storm of credible eyewitnesses, real physical effects on machines, and an official explanation that just doesn't hold water. It's become a cornerstone case in the whole discussion of what we now call UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena. And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? Was it just a freak weather event that nobody can really explain? A bizarre case of shared delusion on a clear Texas night? Or was it something more? Nearly 70 years later, the strange lights over Levelland are still one of America's great unsolved mysteries.